we are all paying for the sins of our fathers. That's not necessarily something that's supposed to be happening in the future. Those are things that are actually happening now. I've been talking about where are the natives? Where are the natives that made the covenants with the other nations? Now, see, remember, you made all these other groups made covenants with the other nations. So when they did that and they came over and took over our lands and they assumed our identities, they cursed their children. So look around right now. Do you see anyone being treated equally to the Europeans, to the Spaniards that got here? I'm sure that the Indians, the natives here, the people that think that they're somehow better than us, you got to understand the reason why you are treated slightly better than us. The only thing that's different between you and us is the fact that we were the ones that were given these lands. We were the ones that were already established here. And I'm sure we had other people that were living here with us, and you got your opportunity to be raised up by the Europeans that came over here, right? By the Spaniards and the English and the Dutch and all these different groups. But look at the situation of your children now. Look at the so-called Mayans, the so-called people, and they're like in horrible conditions. Why do you think you're in those kinds of conditions? Why is it that you weren't raised up the same as the Europeans? How come, you helped them take us down? You helped them by hiding who we are. But why is it that you're still stuck at the bottom? Why is it you're still living in huts when these people are making God knows how many millions or billions of dollars at these sites? Because your forefathers, their actions put you in this situation. Just like exactly the same thing happened to us. We are in our position at the bottom because of the sins of our forefathers. So you start looking at all these different groups, where you got all these people that, are at the bottom. Well, this is the way the Most High set it up. Your forefathers made an agreement, just like we go in the book of Maccabees, and you see a lot of Israelites going and making covenants with the other nations. Yeah, they might, be raised up a little bit in that society, but that's as far as it's going to go. But see, the whole world knew about the Mayans because that word was all over the place. It was in all different parts of the world. Let me show you real fast. You got these magnificent structures that are, attuned with the stars. They're aligned with the stars. They're aligned with the equinoxes. They're aligned with different times of the year and things like that. That kind of stuff takes a huge amount of learning. Just an absolutely ridiculous amount of learning. Going to take a quick look here at this book, Sacred Mysteries Among the Mayas and the Quiches, 11,500 years ago. Their relation to the sacred mysteries of Egypt, Greece, Chaldea, and India. And of course, they always try to shove themselves in there like ancient mysteries of Greece. What the hell out of here? You guys don't have any ancient mysteries. The only thing you guys have is stuff that you've stolen from other people. And then you hide that history and make it seem as if somehow you came up with that stuff. And we already know that stuff is not true. So take a look right here. It says, there also came the wise men from afar to consult the H-Minis learned priests, whose colleges still exist. And we got these colleges, okay? Among these foreigners were bearded men whose features vividly recall those of the Assyrian of old and the Afghans of today. And, you'll start thinking of Afghans of today or Assyrians that you see today, and that wasn't necessarily the ones that they're referring to. Just like I showed you guys in a couple of days of what they think a white bearded man looks like. Hold on. This is what they call a white bearded man. So I'm not taking anything about you guys say, these people look like this or look like that, because this to you is a white bearded man who came over here and was like the gods of the people that were here. If you can't even tell the difference between white and black and whatever else, then I'm not going to trust you trying to tell us what people look like or what kind of features that they have. But you can take a look right here, so you can pause it. And you can pause it and read that bottom part. Right there, I was telling you that this is what they say are white people. Okay? Back to my point right here. From Chichen, this great civilization seems to have extended its influence to the remotest parts of the earth, and to have exercised its controlling power among far distant and heterogeneous nations. The fact is that we meet with the name Maya in many countries of Asia. Look at that again. We meet with the name Maya, right there, in many countries of Asia, Africa, Europe, as well as of America. and always with the meaning of wisdom and power attached to it. So when you see Mayans, you think of wisdom and power. So this is why they had to disconnect you from your great history, because they don't want you thinking that you have any wisdom or you had any power. But we are the only ones with wisdom, because wisdom was given to the Most High's chosen people. Most High was given to a specific group of people, and many of the other nations understood this, so that's why they would always come to our people, and raise them up. And like they all went to Enoch, and they asked for him to be like the king of all these different nations because he had so much power. People went to Solomon because he had so much power. Many people went to David because he has so much wisdom. Well, Solomon had a lot of wisdom and power, of course, but so did David, had a lot of wisdom and power. So when we're talking about wisdom and power right here, again, that's connected with the Maya, and this understanding was all over the world. So you look in your scriptures. Who were they going to? Gentiles asking for wisdom and power? Were they going to these? When they needed a problem solved, that who did they go to? They went to the Most High's chosen people. Okay. Now we have a lot of people who wanted to assume our identity, so they made a covenant with the Spaniards. Okay, but they don't have that wisdom and power. So just because they might have the name Mayans, they might have the name of being the original people, whatever else, you know them by their fruits. These people exude wisdom and power. The only people who exude wisdom and power for the last few hundred years, past couple thousand years, has been a lot of these Edomites and these other European nations that have, and other people, that had their opportunity, because Esau was going to have his opportunity to be on top, because he was going to be given the blessing of the sword for a time. But now that blessing is coming to an end. So the people who made, now you can see, you can look, why are these so-called Mayans in such bad conditions? Because most likely they were the ones that made covenants. Their forefathers made these covenants with these people. And yeah, they were raised up a little bit. They were going to use you as being the poster boy. They're going to put you out there, make it sound like you are the ones that were the ancient Mayans. But in these books, it shows you that these Mayans actually had influence all over the world. And these Mayans were the ones who had wisdom. Wisdom resides with the Israelites. And when you go back to Daniel 9:11, it tells you that the true Israelites were going to be at the bottom. They were going to be treated the worst. So even though a lot of these other nations get treated horribly, trust me, they don't want to switch spots with us. They have not wanted to switch spots with the so-called black man. Nobody wanted that kind of smoke. Yeah, we'll take some smoke. We'll take being at the bottom. All right, man, we'll take some of this stuff, but we don't want it. I don't want to be black. I don't want to be them. Just like you got the Dominicans be cracking up. I know black. I'm not black. I'm like, bro, you darker than I am. Kiki, are you? No, I'm not black. Because nobody wants to be associated with the so-called Negroes, because, we were going to get it the worst, and we've gotten it the worst. But that's okay, because now we rise. Now we're coming to the end of our punishment, and now punishment is going to be coming to everyone who made covenants with these other nations. And that's what you're seeing going on right now. You're seeing the resurrection of the Most High's chosen people. You're going to see the resurrection of our lands. You're going to see the resurrection of the earth actually being put back in order again. Right now, the earth is mourning. The people are mourning. Even the ones, now the children don't realize why they're in these positions, why they're at the bottom, why they have to bow down to the Europeans at all times, why they don't have any rights and rules in their own lands. Because the lands were really never yours, because they just put you up as a face, but ultimately they're behind the scenes making all the decisions. Okay, so now it makes more sense as to why, we've all been cursed, because we got cursed for not following our Father. We got cursed the worst. You got cursed because your forefathers made agreements with these other nations to take us down. See, when your forefathers blessed us and worked with us, I'm sure that they were getting a blessing. They were probably allowed to live here, enjoy this beautiful land. But when some of these forefathers went and made covenants with these other nations when they got here, because the Spaniards did not take down all of us with 500 soldiers. They had many people helping them. They had many accomplices. So now I understand, it makes much more sense as to why, people are in the positions that they are in today. Why I saw so many people just beaten down when I was over there in the Yucatan. Because more than likely, just like our forefathers made mistakes, so did yours. But now you have an opportunity to pray and ask the Most High for forgiveness for the sins of your fathers, just like we have done the same thing. Much love, family. Shalom.